Okay, today I'm going to kill 5 birds with one stone. I'm going to show you a Christmas card that I made and then build it and show you a couple of different techniques in the process. So this is the Christmas card, and it's got some techniques you can do. It's got some embellishments on it right there. Right here you can see the little watermark. I'll show you how to make that. And then just sometimes cutting it out is really a nice effect when you pop it up with the dimension dots. So I'll show you how to do all of these things and make this card. So first thing you'll need obviously is the red background card that opens up. We don't need that until the very end. Next thing you need to do is stamp your image, and I've already done that to save time, so I stamp it here. And there are two, again, different effects that I used. One, I used just the Stampin' markers, and then here on the ribbon I used some glitter paint, and right here I used the crystal effect, and then right in the middle I used again the embellishments. Here I used just watercolor markers and then the crystalline effect here to just kind of make it pop a little. And we've already, not watercolor markers, watercolor pencils. Anyway, so we stamp it, and then cutting it is, I always hated cutting. It was a pain in the doo-wah-diddy, but what I learned is instead of moving the scissors, you move what you're cutting, and I'll show you how to do that once we get this done. Now we're going to do the Peace Be With You, and that's the other, or God's peace. The other thing I'm going to show you is how to do 2 different colors on one stamp. And what you do is you use your markers here, and you take your stamp, and you use the paintbrush side of the marker, and you just color in. I'll color the poinsettias red, obviously. And I'm not going to use all of this because it's not going to fit on our card, but I'll just do it all. So now I can make sure that everything is really colored in. Okay, now I'll use the paintbrush side of the green marker and color that in. Let's get all the colors. Okay, now as we have been coloring the green, the red is kind of dried. So the trick to do that, so you don't have to keep going back and forth, is you just huff on it, for lack of a better term. I know that's negative connotations, but you just go and it reactivates the pigment, and then you've got 2 different colors. Now I'm probably going to need to redo it again here, but there you go. Now I'll show you, let me clean this off because I don't want my thing to stain, especially because we have to use this same stamp for the birthmark watermark background. Okay, now I'll take these scissors and we'll cut around. And I'm obviously not the greatest one with scissors, but I'm better than I was before I learned this trick. So if you start wherever you're going to start, And sometimes if it's too big, I'll cut it down, like we won't need that extra stuff, and it makes it harder to cut. So start cutting, and rather than move the scissors, you move what you're cutting. So you just move it and maneuver it around. Excuse me. And then you continue on around until you have it cut out to where you want it. Anyway, that's the little trick that I learned that saved my bacon when it came to having to cut things out. I never liked to cut and paste in kindergarten. Now, I'll show you what, first we'll measure out the background, this green background here. So what I do is I kind of eyeball it like that. I don't know how big a border you want. If you want a bigger border, you can do that. I want for this one a smaller border. So measure it out like this, and then excuse me, take a pen and mark on where we're going to cut it, and then you just take your paper cutter. We will line it up right there and cut it, and voila. Now what I'll show you is doing the Versamark to make a background effect, kind of a watermark effect. So excuse me, take your Versamark pad. Versamark is also used for embossing. You can use it as watermark, but also if you're going to heat emboss, it will make, instead of using the white craft pad, you use the Versamark, and whatever color embossing powder you're using, then that's what will show up. So now we stamp it, and there it is. And then you just continue around to make your border. And I already made my border. So there's that. You just glue it on there, and then you take your embellishments, which I've got some pearls here, and you put them wherever you're choosing. I'm doing the corners on this one. Come on. Anyway, so then you'll do that all around. Then you will position your cutout piece of art wherever you want it, along with your, we'll pretend like this is cut. It'll be cut. Along with your saying, and then in order to make it pop like this, you will take these dimension dots, and you just take one. They're little, they've got little sizes. These are the mini dots. Just take it, put it under your piece of art, and I put it around, especially this edges that really stick out. Put one there, 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 and then maybe in the middle. And then you peel off, once you got it all, there's little bitty protector there. You peel it off and then you place it down. And that is what you come out with. So I will be posting watermarks and dimension dots and everything else in its own little video clip, but I just wanted to show you the different techniques with this card. Merry Christmas!